Okay, so New York has hosted the US Open for over 100 years now. We've watched Serena say goodbye, seen Federer break down in tears, watched Sinner get crowned. But here's something wild. In the last week of August 2026, staff at Flushing Meadows admitted they had never once had to plan for this. An entire foreign country's population showing up just to watch one player who 12 months earlier wasn't even famous in her own country.
Hi everyone, it's Alex here. I just got off my match in Grandstand, and I just want to thank you all so much for the support. The energy out there was electric, and you guys made it so special, especially coming back after being in a difficult situation in the third. So you made my first main draw win in the Grand Slam so special, and I hope to see you in my second round.
She's 21, she's 5 feet 9 inches, and somehow quietly she's become the most successful tennis player the Philippines has ever produced, man or woman, in over 100 years of the sport being played there.
Are you in the mood for creating more history this year?
I'm always in the mood for more history. I mean, this was for me.
Well played. Enjoy the moment. For the first time ever, we'll see you in a Grand Slam second round match. Give it up for
Her name is Alex Eala, and this is the story of how one player from a country with almost no tennis infrastructure to speak of is now driving ticket sales, rewriting the record books and forcing one of the biggest tournaments on the planet to admit it just wasn't ready for her.
Quite possibly you are the most popular Filipino in the world, am I right, folks? Talk to us about what it's like playing in this kind of atmosphere, because it feels pretty special.
It's so special, you know, they make me more and more special. You know, to be Filipino is something I take so much pride in. And you know, I don't have a home tournament, so to be able to have this community here at the US Open, like, I'm so grateful that they made me feel like I'm home. Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how a single athlete can flip an entire country's relationship with a sport almost overnight? Stick around, because over the next few minutes, you'll see exactly why grown broadcasters are calling this the best sports story of the year. You'll hear why a 4-time Grand Slam champion said Eala has aura. You'll find out why the president of the Philippines personally called her to the palace. And you'll learn why one tournament director said 8 out of every 10 ticket calls he received were about a single player. By the end, you'll get why the US Open genuinely never saw this coming. Let's ground this in the numbers first, because once you see them, the noise around her actually makes sense. At the start of 2025, Alex Eala sat at 130th in the world. Fine, respectable, even the kind of ranking that gets you into qualifying draws and not much more. Fast forward 20 months to August 24, 2026, the day before the US Open draw, and she hit a career high of world number 18. That's the highest ranking any Filipino, or honestly any Southeast Asian player, man or woman, has ever hit in WTA Tour history. And once you start listing what that ranking actually represents, it gets a little absurd. She's the first Filipino to crack the world's top 20, the first to beat a top 10 opponent, the first to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam, the first to make a WTA 1000 semi-final, and the first and so far only Filipino to win a WTA Tour singles title, which she pulled off this month in Washington, D.C. So, how big is this drought she's ending? You'd have to go back to 1988 to find the last time Philippine tennis actually mattered on a global stage. Back when the National Davis Cup team put together a run that briefly put the country on the map. After that, nothing for almost 30 years. No majors, no top 100 rankings, no real relevance internationally. And remember, this is a country where basketball, boxing, and volleyball dominate. Tennis was never supposed to be the sport that produced a global star. But Eala didn't just end the drought. She turned a niche curiosity into a full-blown national movement. And she did it faster than almost anyone in the modern history of the sport. Think about that for a second. Most players take 4 or 5 years to climb from the 130s into the top 20. Eala did it in under 2. Even her junior years hinted at this. She was already the first Filipina to win a junior Grand Slam title and climbed to a junior world ranking of number 2. But here's what actually sets her apart from most junior prodigies. She didn't stall out once she turned pro, which is what happens to so many talented teenagers. She just kept climbing year after year until the results finally caught up to the hype that had been building around her since her teenage years training at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mecca.
From a family with deep roots in Philippine sports and the resources to develop a child's talent at the highest level, Alex started playing at age 4 at Valle Verde Country Club in Pasig City. Her grandfather, Roberto Maniego, was her first tennis coach. He put her on the court, gave her balls, and he showed up to every practice. By 12, it was clear that she had outgrown everything the Philippines could offer her. So at 13, Alex and her brother moved to Mallorca, Spain, to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy, and she earned a full scholarship. But getting to that point, getting good enough to even be considered for a scholarship at a facility that charges $60,000 a year required years of private coaching, international tournament travel, and a family that could pay for all of it. 13 years old, halfway around the world, because the Philippine had no path to get her where she needed to go.
None of this happened in a vacuum either. Behind her is a small team, including coaches from her Nadal Academy days, an environment that had already produced multiple top 50 players before she ever showed up. And her support staff has had to rapidly professionalize as her results kept outpacing everyone's expectations. People close to Philippine tennis administration described the last 18 months as a scramble building sponsorship deals, scheduling systems, basic logistics around a level of attention the federation had simply never had to handle before. Here's a number that should stop you in your tracks. Eala's pre-tournament press conference was watched online by 171,000 people. For comparison, Carlos Alcaraz's press conference for that same tournament pulled 29,000. Coco Gauff's pulled 29,000. Aryna Sabalenka pulled 9,000. A player who wasn't even seated out drew 3 of tennis's biggest superstars combined just in press conference viewership.
Filipino player Alexandra Eala was greeted by hundreds of Filipino fans during her practice session out the back of Melbourne Park this morning. Eala is number 49 in the world, and she's really captivated the hearts and minds of the Filipino community here in Melbourne after she became the first Filipino player to win a Grand Slam match at the US Open in 2025. It's fair to say that most players would have found that scene a little confronting given the number of people who swarmed her for autographs and photos after her practice session, but she took it really well. She stopped to say hi to the fans, and then she left the practice court.
Organizers put her first round match on court 6, which holds about 1,500 people. Turns out that wasn't nearly enough. Security actually had to start clearing standing areas mid-match because the crowd help overflowed walkways that were never designed for that kind of turnout. Some fans had been standing for hours, some without tickets at all, just hoping to hear the crowd noise from outside the gates. Tournament staff later admitted quietly that nothing in their planning documents accounted for a scenario like this. Not for a player ranked outside the top 40. That was Melbourne in January. By August, nobody was surprised anymore. It had become the expectation.
Refreshing and nice to see how well she's handled all of the kind of fandom and stardom that's come with her being from the Philippines and how they've really embraced her. And it's crazy how she deals with it every single week, which just shows her maturity as a player and a person. So I have a lot of respect for her, and I like her a lot. I think she's a really nice girl, and it's cool to see what she's brought to the women's game. And she's great.
Markin, the tournament's owner and chairman, said it plainly at the trophy ceremony. This might be the greatest crowd for a Monday final anyone has ever seen. And think about what that actually means. This wasn't a Saturday night showcase with discounted tickets and a marketing push. This was a Monday afternoon, the kind of slot that usually pulls in whoever happens to be off work that day. Instead, the stadium was packed to the rafters with Philippine flags of every size, fans chanting "Let's go, Alex," before nearly every single service game, drowning out the usual polite tennis hush. And it wasn't just the fans reacting. Jessica Pegula, the player on the losing end of that final, stood at the podium afterward and said, It's refreshing and nice to see how well she's handled all the fandom and stardom that's come with her being from the Philippines, and how they've really embraced her. It's crazy how she deals with it every single week. It just shows her maturity as a player and a person. I have a lot of respect for her. I like her a lot. I think she's a really nice girl, and it's cool to see what she's brought to the women's game. She's great. That's not a throwaway line. That's one of the WTA's most established Americans, on US soil, in the capital, publicly crediting a foreign fan base for elevating her own sport, in front of a crowd that was actively rooting against her. Eala herself couldn't hold it together when she got to the microphone. Asked what it's like to be this popular everywhere, even in Washington, she said, "I think the question should be rephrased. It's what it's like to be Filipino. The community here in DC is amazing. There was a great atmosphere for both players, and I'm really happy with my win today." Off camera, Markin went even further, telling reporters that at least 80% of all ticket inquiries during the entire tournament were specifically about her. That turns this from a passing viral moment into a real changing of the guard story. It's not just the fans losing their minds, it's her opponents, it's the biggest names in the sport. During that same Washington run, Eala beat a genuinely staggering list of names back-to-back. A reigning Olympic gold medalist, a defending tournament champion, a former world number 3, and a 4-time Grand Slam winner. That last one was Naomi Osaka, in the semi-final. Afterward, reporters asked Osaka directly about Eala's ceiling as a player, drawing a comparison to how Osaka herself once generated huge appeal from Japanese fans. Osaka said, "I mean, for me I think it's great. Just now I finished my match and the little go-kart was taking me back, and I looked at the practice court and it was completely full. I was like, who's practicing right now? And she didn't even go on court yet. Then I saw the Filipino flags. I think it's awesome. They're so kind too, the fans. Some of them were on my court cheering for me, and I just felt really grateful. It's so cool that she's building a new community." Think about that. Osaka, someone who's actually won 4 majors and knows exactly what it's like to be the face of a sport in her own country, calling a 21-year-old ranked outside the top 20 an inspiration. Eala's response was just as telling. Weeks earlier at Wimbledon, she'd already put the tennis world on notice by beating defending champion Krejcikova. Asked about it, she said, "I remember watching her finals in the Australian Open and the US Open, so it was a great experience to share the court with her, and I'm really happy I was able to produce that level against her." Then when she landed in Toronto for the Canadian Open the week after Washington, the same pattern repeated before she'd even played a real match. "Having my countrymen cheering me on, and knowing that we're all in this together, this goes out to them, this goes out to my family, this goes out to all the little girls with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks. It means the world." Back home, though, this isn't being treated like a sports story anymore. It's a national event. Back in July, before her Washington breakthrough, she was summoned to Malacanang Palace, where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. personally handed her a presidential citation, one of the country's highest civilian honors, usually reserved for people with decades of achievement behind them, given here to a 21-year-old still building her career. And then there's Manny Pacquiao, arguably the most famous Filipino athlete alive, a boxing legend and sitting senator, who publicly saluted her after the Washington win. "Congratulations on your victory. Thank you for bringing honor to our country. We're cheering for you. We're proud of you. God bless." When a boxing legend and a sitting president are both publicly aligning themselves with a tennis player, in a country where tennis has historically ranked below basketball, boxing, and volleyball, is that just fandom? Not really. That's a cultural shift happening in real time. Even Eala herself has acknowledged it, joking with a crowd at another event. "I know you guys are probably here for Alex, so I'm sorry to make you wait, but if I'm not mistaken, I think some of you were cheering for me too, so I appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoy the next match, but thank you for cheering for me for now." Here's the thing. Club administrators say that grassroots shift might end up mattering more long-term than any single trophy, because it means the next Alex Eala might already be picking up a racket for the first time this year, somewhere in a country that used to produce almost no tennis talent at all. The same pattern has followed her all year. Organizers plan for a normal tournament, and a nation shows up instead. What makes this different from a typical underdog wave? It's not fading. Every single stop this year has been bigger than the last. Melbourne was the warning shot. Washington was the proof. So what's New York shaping up to be? Probably the loudest version yet. 20 months ago, Alex Eala was ranked 130th in the world. Today, she's the most successful tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. A player Naomi Osaka calls a star, a player tournament directors are rearranging their entire logistics around, a player a sitting president felt compelled to personally honor. The US Open has hosted legends before. But has it ever had to prepare for a fan base that doesn't just watch a match, but turns an entire afternoon session into a national holiday?
Is it like to be this popular everywhere around the world, even here in Washington?
No, I think the question should be rephrased. It's what it's like to be Filipino. Salamat mga kababayan. No, but I think the community here in DC is amazing. I think there was a great atmosphere for both players, and I'm really happy with my win today.
Hey, Naomi. When you first burst onto the scene, you generated huge appeal and attention from Japanese fans in particular. I'm just wondering, when you see Alex Eala and the interest that she's generating from Filipino fans, I was just curious what you make of it and what it can do for women's tennis.
I mean, for me, I think it's great. Like, just now, I finished my match and the little go-kart was taking me back, and I looked at the practice court and it was completely full. I was like, who's practicing right now? And, well, she didn't even go on the court yet. And then I saw the Filipino flags and I was like, But no, I think it's awesome. Like, they're so kind too, the fans. Like, I think she's playing late tonight, and some of them were on my court cheering for me, and I just felt really grateful. So it's so cool that she's building a new community.
And yes, I did. I remember watching her, her finals in the Australian Open and also in the US Open. So really a great experience to share the court with her, and I'm really happy that I was able to produce that level against her. Yeah.
Hello to Alex Eala, congratulations to your victory. Thank you for bringing honor to our country. Nandito lang kami, nakasuporta palagi sa iyo, and we're cheering for you. We're proud of you. God bless.
I know you guys are probably here for Alex, so I'm sorry to... I'm sorry to make you wait, but if I'm not... If I'm not mistaken, I think that some of you guys were cheering for me, so I appreciate it a lot. And I hope you guys enjoy the next match. But thank you for cheering for me for now.